haven't been given any, I'll say I'll call again, I congratulate you on your talk and I'm looking forward to reading your book. One of the problems I have with trying to address this whole situation is the huge amount of information that has accumulated over the years, because it's such a chronic, long problem. And everyone's got a million facts that they want to tell you on both sides, and I feel I'm somehow in a blizzard of information, and I can't actually see. So I'm trying to think, let's try and get down to basics. And I think about the Fourth Geneva Convention, which you mentioned. And to me, it's very important, because it's the thing which makes the occupation illegal. What I want to know, and it seems that recently there have been opinions coming from the Israeli government that it actually doesn't apply to the occupied territories. In fact, they don't want to say occupied anymore. So my question to you is, how do you think we, who are trying to oppose what we regard as an illegal occupation, how do you think we should relate to the Fourth Geneva Convention? How do you think we should use it? I'm talking to you as a lawyer, and I'm not a lawyer, as you as a lawyer. What's your advice about how we should address the Fourth Geneva Convention?
I think you said something very important, and one of the tactics that has always been used by Israel is to claim that the Israeli case is a special case. And always there is this idea that it's special. And I can go through many, many examples of this, and we can begin with the refugee problem. The refugees are not, because of the Abba Evans, who was as the UN representative at that time, are not considered under the UN thing as refugees. And therefore, because Israel said it's a humane problem and not a refugee problem. Then we got 242, which is the UN Security Council saying that Israel must retreat from the occupied territories. Israel says, well, it said retreat from withdraw from occupied territories and not the occupied territories. So again, they distinguish the resolution, which is quite clear and obviously means what it says, but is that it must withdraw from the occupied territories. So again, a special case. And then we come to the occupied territories. They say, no, they're not occupied territories, they're disputed territories. The entire world accepts that the Geneva Convention applies to these territories, including the United States, including there was the advisory opinion on the wall in The Hague, and it was very clearly said in that advisory opinion that the Fourth Geneva Convention applies, that the settlements are therefore illegal, and so on, and that wall cannot be built inside the territories. So I think the Israeli tactic is to say it's a very complicated matter. There are two sides to every question, and of course, if you are a lawyer, you can always argue endlessly about anything. But I think it's not complicated. It's very simple. There is an occupation that began in 1967. It should end in order for there to be the possibility of peace based on a two-state solution, an Israeli state and a Palestinian state side by side. And any attempt at obfuscating and creating unnecessary dilemmas is just a tactic to argue away the facts and the law.